This is the first video in the series ODSP, a look at the application. In this video, we will look at preparing to complete the ODSP online application and the section on personal information. ODSP is the Ontario Disability Support Program. This is a program that is funded by the Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services and is a part of the Ontario Social Assistance System. Through the ODSP program, the government provides funding to help disabled Ontarians with costs of daily living, such as rent, food, and clothing. It also provides assistance with medical costs, such as prescription, dental, vision, and more. And they can connect you with supports to find and maintain employment. To be eligible for ODSP, you must be 18 years of age, have a disability that will last at least a year, and be in financial need. We have provided a link in the description section underneath this video with more information on the ODSP eligibility. As I mentioned, ODSP is an adult funding, so that means you must be 18 years of age or older in order to be receiving support from ODSP. However, you can apply to ODSP 6 months prior to your 18th birthday, so at the age of 17 and a half. If you are a 17 and a half-year-old or applying on behalf of a 17 and a half-year-old, and that person is currently receiving supports under child funding, such as assistance for children with severe disabilities, it's important to note that that child funding will not simply transition or transfer over to adult funding, including ODSP. You will need to complete applications for ODSP or other adult funding in order to receive those supports. When you start the application, you'll notice that it says it is an application for social assistance. What this means is this is not just an ODSP application. In fact, there is a broad range of people across a wide range of circumstances who are all going to be accessing this same application form. Because of that, you may look at some questions and not be sure how they relate to you or how you're supposed to answer that question. If you hit a question and you're just not sure what it's asking, you can reach out to the Social Assistance Support Line at 888-999-1142, and they should be able to assist you by clarifying the question. The application form is intended to be completed by the applicant. So if you're filling this out for someone else, such as a parent who's doing this for their child, remember, you're entering the applicant's information, not your own. One possible exception. Where you enter the email and phone number, you want this to be for the person ODSP should connect with. Usually this will be the applicant, but in some circumstances, ODSP may need to reach out to the parent or caregiver instead of the applicant directly. If that is your situation, you would enter the email and phone number that the ODSP will use to contact someone about the application. Before you start, you'll want to gather the information that you'll be required to enter in the form. So you'll need the social insurance number and health card number for the applicant, immigration documents if that's relevant, and also financial information for any financial assets where the applicant is named as the beneficiary, which is the person who will receive those finances. This could be a bank account, including a joint account, registered disability, registered education savings plan, a trust fund, any financial asset in the applicant's name. Once you have the information, navigate to the link that is shown in the comments section below, click Apply for ODSP, and then select Start a New Application and navigate through responding to the questions in the form. At one point in the form, you'll see a question that asks, are you filling this out for yourself or for someone else? So if you're filling the form out for someone else, such as a parent completing it for their child, this is where you're going to indicate that and then use the drop down to show your relationship to the person, which in the case of a parent would be other. You'll notice when you select that you're doing the form for someone else, a whole nother area opens up, and this is the area on Trustee. Trustee is simply a person that is appointed by ODSP to manage someone else's ODSP funding. So for instance, a parent is appointed to manage their child's ODSP account funding. If a trustee might be needed, then you're going to select Trustee will be identified from the options. Also note that this can be changed later. So if a trustee is needed at this point, at the time of applying, but a few months or a few years down the road that trustee is no longer needed, you can reach out to ODSP and remove the trustee or change it to another person if that is also required. As you go through the questions, you're going to see that it asks, do you have a disability that will impact your daily activities? You'll want to check yes to that as applying for ODSP. You'll also note that it asks whether or not you've applied to Adult Developmental Services through DSO. Now there's 3 options to choose from. If you've applied and you're approved, you're going to select Approved. If you've applied but you haven't heard yet or you're still appealing, then you'll put Applied. If you will not be applying, or if you were applied and were told you were not eligible, you will indicate No. As you go through the form, at the end of each section, look for the blue button with the word Continue on it and click on that to advance to the next screen. If you do need to go back, there is a back button as well, and you can go back to a previous section and update or revise it. Also note, this form does not allow you to save, exit, and come back to it later. You will need to complete the form from the beginning to the end in one session. In the online application, near the beginning, there's a section called Additional Information. You'll see a question there that says, do you need support accessing our services? If you select yes to that, it will give you several options for support. This includes things like translation services, assistance understanding the computerized or technology systems, support person to help you navigate the next steps. If you would like support from ODSP to navigate the next steps through the eligibility process that come after you submit this online form, select yes, indicate which support you would want, and that will let ODSP know to reach out to you and assist you through this process. This concludes video 1 in the series ODSP, A Look at the Application. Video 2 looks at the section on housing. Video 3 looks at the section on earned income and assets. And video 4 looks at submission and next steps.